open our working session, or work session of Division 3. We really have two actions today for the work session, and I don't think these are controversial because we discussed them. On the first one, dealing with 1193, that's the amendment number. It's dealing with the transfers from the Liquor Commission Fund. And this language, for those of you that read all of these things very carefully, is modified just a little bit because it met the department, wanted to suggest slightly different language. Mr. Ripple assures me that it doesn't change our policy or the concept. It's just happier words. So that's 1193. And then the other document that's before you is the issue we had with that full body scanner that we want to have the Sununu Center do is we were going to put it in the footnote that they could move money around, but apparently that's unconstitutional to basically make the effect of a law in a footnote of HB1. So it's the same thing, but it just has to be go live in HB2. So I think that I'm going to ask for a straw vote on the HB2 item to approve the transfer authority and the purchasing of the full body scanner. Is there any discussion?
Could I just ask a question about the liquor one?
We'll get to that.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're on the other
Right
one?
now, I'm on the scanner. You have any questions or comments about this? No, that's all right. You actually didn't miss anything. I don't think this is very controversial. So what is happening is we all agreed we want the body scanner, and in exchange for having the body scanner at Sununu, we're going to liberate their ability to move money around between expense lines. We can't do that in HB1. It has the effect of a law, and so we have to put it in HB2. So the one document you have on HB2 is exactly what we agreed to, but is an HB2 item. Do you want to say something about this, Mr. Ripple?
That's exactly right. The courts have ruled that House Bill 1 can't contain any modifications to or suspensions of state law, so I would request that you put this in the trailer bill instead.
All right, so I'd like a show of hands, those in favor of accepting the full body scanner at Sununu in HB2, raise your hand, please. Okay.
Just clarifying, I agree. This is just an unofficial draft of what the language is?
Yes, I thought of this too late to have OLS draft it, but now that you've adopted it, I'll have OLS draft a formal amendment.
Great, thanks.
So the next one, Representative Urf, is the Liquor Commission Fund transfer item 1193. Do you have questions or comments?
I'm just curious. I was reading their audit this morning. I probably need Mr. Ripple for this. I was looking at the audit this morning of the Liquor Commission. Is this in any way related to the fact that they didn't pay the full amount or didn't transfer the full amount into the alcohol abuse thing?
I don't think it's related to that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so I think this is just executing what we'd already agreed on. So I would like to go ahead and see a show of hands on who can accept this as part of HB2. Okay, that's it. And then you have a third item for us that's for information, I understand.
Yes, you don't need to vote on this. You voted on it on Tuesday, but I have the revised rate increase amendment with the changes the committee requested.
And although there's no vote, go ahead and take your time and just look at it over. And if you want to come back and discuss anything on it. Mr. Lippman, sir, did you get a copy of the proposal? Okay. All right. Mr. Ripple, when we finish here, do I need to recess? Do we have anything else outstanding that may come back over?
I see no reason to recess.
Okay. All right. Representative Mooney.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as we review Amendment 1183H, as I recall from last we met, the critical sections are on page 3, the insertion of Roman 19, as well as section 3. So on page 3, that would be line 12, and then again line 27. Okay. Thank you.
Representative Wallner.
Do we have the total of what this document?
He can
equals?
tell us again. I think it was 70.4 plus 24.
70.2 plus 24 million over the biennium. Yep.
Over the biennium? So 70.2
70.2,
and
24. The
Yes.
24 was the 3.1% base. And then we allocated the 70.2 to help rate increases.
Thank you.
So I just want to make sure that the department is, and the language is clear to indicate how they can use the 12 and 12 monies, timing-wise, and to, is there any formula for targeting the rate increase in here to individual areas, or do they just have total discretion to use it on rates in any way that they see based on this language? Thanks.
I think our intent was to let them have whatever flexibility they needed in order to make sure that everyone got 3.1%, that we didn't overlook any entity, and that if anything popped up, the department could handle it, obviously excluding the hospital portion.
That is correct. I just would like to ask one question, though. There was some discussion back and forth at the committee about DME and the pharmacy issue. I think where you landed is where the governor talked about is for services, and I'm not sure whether there's clarity on those two pieces for us. But I think we can work with what's here.
I think the clarity was we decided to accept the governor's proposal around DME and pharmacy, that
Okay.
what he was recommending was what we're supporting. Was there any other position on it other than that? I don't think so. Okay.
Thank you for
Yes,
clarifying.
yes, sir. All right. So I'm sorry you all came in because we're already done. I could read it back into the record how great it is that I think we cooperated to come up with a Medicaid rate increase that met the community's requests, that used available funds to the extent that we had them, and that we're going to give the Senate something really useful to work with. So I like all that. So go ahead, Representative Wallner.
Well, I don't think we really actually met the request of the providers. I think this document is considerably lower than what the information they provided us with, but I think it's a start.
Okay, I don't need to recess this. The work session is done. Congratulations, Division Three. We're done, right? We've done all of our work, and now we have to. The only thing we have left is to go back into full committee and vote this out.
That's correct. As far as the budget goes, you do have bills at 10 o'clock.
Right. 4 bills, 10 o'clock. All right. We are adjourned.
now 10:03 on Friday, March 24th. We're going to open up this work session on 4 bills that need addressing. So, just to refresh everybody's memory, the bills to be recommended or not, what have you, today during this work session are as follows. So it's House Bills 91, 282, 565, and 614. Now, this day has been long in coming, as we were supposed to have worked on these during the snowstorm, and they were put off until today. So I think we're going on 2.5 weeks to familiarize ourselves with these bills and take a recommended action. So for those in the audience and at home, I'm Representative Maureen Mooney, the Vice Chair of Division 3. Our Chairman, Representative Jess Edwards, has another commitment this morning. So with that, why don't we go right in order if there is nothing to start out with. Does any member have anything to say to begin? Real good. We'll start with House Bill 91. So House Bill 91, relative to privacy obligations to the Department of Health and Human Services. We may recall that this bill was actually sponsored by the chairman of this division and was a long time in coming. 2 years, actually, we heard from technology on this. So I would look for, at this point, a motion to retain House Bill 91 with the intention that it be added to House Bill 2. Representative Doucette.
I move we retain House Bill 91 with that intent.
Excellent. Is there a second? Representative Tulersky as a second. Okay. Any discussion? House Bill 91 to be retained with the intention of adding it to House Bill 2. Any discussion? Real good. Okay. Our clerk, who's doing a phenomenal job, by the way, this session. This hasn't been easy with a lot of twists and turns in this division, but you've been doing a phenomenal job, Representative Stringham. I think we're ready for a roll call on this, if you're ready.
Okay, so this is the roll call to retain House Bill 91. I guess I would start with you still, Representative Mooney,
Yes.
Representative Erf. Yes. Representative Doucette,
Yes.
Representative Wallner, Representative Nordgren,
Yes.
Representative Tulersky,
Yes.
and the clerk votes yes.
Representative Weiler votes yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, again, with the
Not on sheet.
recommendation unanimous to retain with an amendment to House Bill 2, which we will exec next week. For those watching and online, we are execing House Bills 1 and 2 on Monday of next week and Wednesday of next week. House Bills 1 and 2 is that large. Okay, we're going to move now to House Bill 282. Relative to including certain children and pregnant women in Medicaid and the Children's Health Insurance Program. That was sponsored by Representative Shapiro, and we may recall his commitment to this bill and his interest in it. At this point, I would look for a motion to retain House Bill 282 with the intention of adding it to House Bill 2. Representative Doucette.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move we retain House Bill 282 with the intention of adding it to HB2.
And is there a second? Representative Wallner for a second. Any discussion? Representative Tulersky.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to say I think that this bill is very important when it comes to maternal and children's health. And as a division, I hope we can continue to pursue similar topics, and I'm pleased to see it'll be going into HB2.
Thank you for that. Any further discussion? All right, if the clerk would then call the roll.
Calling the roll on House Bill 282. The motion is to retain the bill with the intention of putting it in to HB2. Representative Mooney,
Yes.
Representative Erf,
No.
Representative Doucette,
Yes.
Representative Wallner, Representative Nordgren,
Yes.
Representative Tolerski,
Yes.
Representative Stringham votes yes. Chairman Weiler,
Yes.
the vote being 6-1. Does that sound right? 7-1? Where did here we go. 7-1, thank you.
Excellent. 7 to 1. Okay, moving on now, House Bill 565, and that is relative to expanding Medicaid to include certain postpartum health care services. Bill sponsored by Representative M. Murray. I would look now for a motion to retain with the intention of adding to House Bill 2, which will be exec next Monday and Wednesday next week. Representative Doucette.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move retention of House Bill 565 with the intent to add it to HB 2.
And a second. Representative Wallner for a second. Any discussion, House Bill 565? Okay, at this point, if the clerk, when ready, would call the roll.
This is a vote on House Bill 565. The motion is to retain with the intention of inserting in House Bill 2. Representative Mooney,
Yes.
Representative Erf,
No.
Representative Doucette,
Yes.
Representative Wallner, Representative Nordgren,
Yes.
Representative Tolerski,
Yes.
Representative Stringham, yes. Representative Weiler.
Yes.
Final vote being 7-1, the motion passes.
Thank you, Representative Stringham. Next, moving on to House Bill 614. That's making an appropriation to the Department of Health and Human Services to fund the Merrimack, New Hampshire Kidney Cancer Incidence Phase 3 Feasibility Study. I would look now for a motion to retain with the intention of adding this exact language to House Bill 2. Representative Doucette for a motion.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move retention on House Bill 614 with the intention of adding it to HB 2.
Second.
Thank you, and Representative Erf for a second. Any discussion? Okay, at this point, I would like to say that I prepared some remarks on this. Merrimack is home to the biggest PFAS pollution in New Hampshire, and thousands have been affected, either receiving bottled water, which they continue to do to this day, installing filtration systems, or suffering with extreme health effects. This bill funds the recommendation for Phase 3 of a feasibility study to fund high rates of kidney cancer. It was brought out in the work sessions on this bill that only 2 times in the last 10 years has a cancer study been recommended to go from Phase 2 to Phase 3. This is extraordinary. The whole interest in PFAS is the effects it has on our human bodies and on our environment. And this Phase 3 would certainly benefit us as a state as to the effects this has on the human body. So to proceed with this phase from Phase 2 to Phase 3 of the study, $500,000 is needed for fiscal years 24 and 25 to DHHS to contract and proceed with the study. So it's critically important, not only to my community of Merrimack, but to our state as a whole, that this bill be included and passed as part of House Bill 2. Representative Weiler.
I also appreciate the fact that we're finally moving into looking at humans rather than rodents, because all these past things have not really involved humans at Phase 3. And we've got some of the lowest PFAS things set down for the water, which I think is unreasonable unless we do some human studies. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comment? At this point, I do see Representative Nancy Murphy in the audience. She wasn't able to make it to the work session previous. Would you like to say any comments at this point, Representative Murphy?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Nancy Murphy, Hillsborough 12.
representing the town of Merrimack. I really appreciate the support for this bill. It's something that we in the community, about 27,000 people, know is an issue. The numbers in that cancer report actually are only the numbers through 2018. So the exceedance of, I believe it was 19 cases, and with a 42% over what should be expected in terms of kidney cancer, those numbers are still much less than the reality of what's happening. So, kidney cancer is just one of the health impacts that we're concerned about, and certainly deserves this feasibility study, and with ultimately probably an epidemiological study for the reasons you suggest, that the need is not often found, and it certainly has been there given the exposure of our community, that Merrimack is sort of ground zero for we've been designated the site of the state's largest industrial environmental disaster in the state's history. So this money would be really important to the division and to the citizens of Merrimack. So I thank you for your consideration and support.
Thank you, Representative. Okay, any further discussion among the members? At this point, we'll call the roll to retain House Bill 614 with the intention of adding it to House Bill 2. Representative Stringham.
Representative Mooney,
Yes.
Representative Erf,
Yes.
Representative Doucette,
Yes.
Representative Wallner, Representative Nordgren,
Yes.
Representative Tulersky.
Yes.
Clerk votes yes. Representative Weiler.
Yes.
Final vote being 8-0, the motion passes.
Thank you. So again, as a reminder, we'll be execing House Bills 1 and 2 on Monday and Wednesday of next week. Tuesday of next week is a whole host of bills that the full Finance Committee will be execing. So at this point, is there anything further from the members of Division 3? Okay. Mr. Ripple, any closing words?
Nope.
Representative Nordgren.
I just wanted to say you do a really great job.
And you'll notice that was an unrecognized comment. So Representative Nordgren, thank you very much for that. I appreciate that very much. It means a lot. Okay, Representative Stringham.
Can we discuss at all what the process looks like on the HB1, HB2 sessions on Monday and Wednesday?
Yes.
Representative Weiler.
So we'll start with, since we're in Division 3 and you don't get to rotate around as much as I do, we'll start with Division 1, and we'll see up there the chair and vice chair and likely the two LBA folks that will be assisting. And they'll start through the major points as they go through the different departments and the different changes they made, and briefing us on what they did and the actions they took, as well as likely probably some of the HBs that have been incorporated into the budget. And so we'll all have an understanding of what happened within that division. And that will take some time, and then we'll go on to Division 2, similar thing, and then Division 3, and we'll all get filled in on what, and if someone on Division 3 leaves out something you think is important, you can get the attention and say, hey, don't forget what we did about so-and-so. So that's important, that everybody, there'll liable to be some other members of the legislature. I've invited them, as you heard, and also maybe members of the public, and it will be telecast, so it'll go out. And it will be kind of a lengthier version of what we will do when we present it in April to the full House. And again, it'll be division chairs will get up, or vice chairs, and kind of give a description for some amount of time. We haven't decided yet of what took place. I don't think the full House will listen for hours, as we will probably have it here in when we go through it. But that's kind of the purpose of it all. And then any other members that will come before us, I may still have another meeting tonight about what we're wrapping up for those. There's been several members that come in that want to know what happened, so I'll be likely having that meeting. So anyway, it's a sales job. We have to let people know that this is what we did. And we hope you support it and listen to see what their comments are or questions and do our best to answer them all. So, we're looking for support on the budget from everybody on the committee and from all the members of the House. So we can send something on to the Senate that we feel has a strong support. Thank you.
Thank you. Representative Wallner.
Yes, Representative Weiler, would Monday, as we're working on the reports from each division, would that be a time that people could bring forth amendments?
Yes. And it'll be an exec session in effect, so we'll have the full committee here to vote on it.
Yes, thank you.
So I guess that leads me to ask Mr. Ripple, at some point between now and Monday, and I would assume that every division would be in this situation, a list perhaps of all of the changes, amendments, takeouts, put-ins, and the like to House Bill 2 from this division?
So the two documents that we generally provide are a House Bill 2 amendment packet containing all the House Bill 2 amendments that you passed, along with a summary sheet on the front. And for House Bill 1, we'll provide what we call a detailed change document showing all the line-by-line changes that were made to the budget. And so we'll finalize those probably later tonight or tomorrow, and typically send them to the chairman first so he can review them for a presentation to the committee on Monday.
Real good. Any further discussion? Okay, with that, I think we're ready to close our work session today in Division 3. Thank you all.